Unmute is Hey, my name is Heather, and I am the host of a podcast called Sunshine and Power Cuts. And this week happens to be Mental Health Awareness Week here in New Zealand, and it's important to anyone, no matter where you are. So I wanted to share some of the things about the theme of this week about mental health awareness and well-being, which is to explore your way to well-being. The Mental Health Foundation here in New Zealand has developed a really great resource for this week. It's some workbooks and stickers and all sorts of things to help encourage you explore what lights you up, what you enjoy, reconnect with yourself, and to reconnect with your well-being. So with my podcast, it's called Sunshine and Power Cuts, and that basically describes my off-grid journey. I live off the power grid with solar panels and a battery bank, and I rely on sunshine for power. And in doing that, it kind of made me realize you need to connect with the world around you and sort of rely and resync ourselves with the world around us. And that's what we're going to be covering. Like, our connection to nature is often how we connect with ourselves. When we feel lost, there's a quote by Andy Goldsworthy that says, when we feel lost, it's often because we've lost our connection to nature, we've lost our connection to ourselves. I have that over on my website, so I'm going to share that here. And this is where you can find everything about Sunshine and Power Cuts at sunshineandpowercuts.com. And that quote stuck out. Here on the website, you can also see the link to the podcast. You can listen to it if you'd like to, and the 7 Days of Sunshine Challenge. With Mental Health Foundation, each year they cover a theme, and usually it's around something nature-based. And this year, with Explore Your Way to Wellness, it kind of covers some of the themes that I've got in the 7 Days of Sunshine Challenge. I actually developed before the podcast came out. It is an automated series that comes out to your inbox, and it looks at day one, rediscovering what lights you up, because those are the things that we connect with on a deep level. They are the things that really motivate us, that we enjoy doing, that will help lift us up when we need it. For day two, I've got to check in to find out where you are right now. And then over the week, as you do some of the other prompts and things to check in with yourself and how you're connecting with the world around you. At the end of the week, there's a reflection, but day 3 is be still and listen. Day 4 is about being unplugged, being in the moment. And then day 5 is embracing persistence. Day 6 is about regaining perspective. And as I said, day 7 is reflection. So similarly along that theme, the Explore Your Way to Wellbeing covers some things to consider over the week. And there's 5 elements that they're looking at. In general, the Mental Health Foundation of New Zealand has 5 ways to wellbeing that they share. And this is the main thing for this year is Explore Your Way to Wellbeing. As I said, it's from the 23rd to the 29th of September. Going down here, this is a whakatoki, which is a proverb. And they're pretty important because they are quotes, basically, proverbs, things, mantras to live by. And a lot of them in Māori culture connect with nature because that is inherently really important. This one I like because it sort of brings in the element of the weather. When the cloud over the sky is when I would have a power cut if I used up all my power. And above them, though, the sun is shining, and out there is the Milky Way and the universe, and there is more beyond the clouds that are covering and making it dark right now. So it's a pretty cool one. So this week, we're going to cover a few things. We've got an introduction today that I'm going to do of what this week is, and we'll cover a little bit of an introduction each time. Do the check-in, and this theme for today is Whenua, which I'll explain later, and we've got some activities and reflections. So there's going to be 5 days of things that we're covering. I hope that you enjoy it. So back to Mental Health Awareness Week. It's an opportunity, as it says on screen, to explore the experiences, actions, relationships, and surroundings that make you feel good and uplift you. Because everyone, all of us, we have mental health and we have well-being. And it's something for us to treasure and look after. When your well-being is strong, your whānau, which is your family, your communities, and your country, or Aotearoa here in New Zealand, can flourish too. So this guide that we're looking at is developed by the Mental Health Foundation of New Zealand, the Mental Health Awareness Week, and it's designed to help you along the way. Everyone goes through hard times. We all have our mental health and our well-being. Some of us are a bit more buoyant than others, and so having tools and things to draw on is really important for when it does get dark and we do need to be lifted up again. And that's what it says here about knowing what can help during these times can make a big difference. So it's got some ideas and prompts that you can try out. And what is mental health and well-being? Like I said, we all have it. But the World Health Organization defines it as a state in which every individual realizes their own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to their community, which is really important because it's how we thrive in life. It's not just if we're okay from one moment, it's how we cope with all the things that go on. A lot of people can experience mental illness, though. 1 in 5 Kiwis experience mental illness each year, and it's important to remember that with the right support, or tautoko, many people can and do live well with mental illness. So it's not just for people who have experienced a mental illness, it's for everybody. So the Mental Health Foundation is asking Kiwis across New Zealand to explore their way to well-being, but I wanted to share that globally because it's not just isolated to New Zealand, it's just that New Zealand has this amazing resource that they've developed, and yeah, I hope that you enjoy it. And if you have any resources of your own locally, I would love to hear from you because this one's going to have a very New Zealand theme to it. So the theme of this week is Explore Your Way to Wellness, and they're going to use a framework called Te Whare Tapawha, which is about a way of looking at all the elements that make up your well-being. And we have a lot of facets to us, and it's interesting because when one of them is out of alignment, then it can sort of weaken the structure of everything else, or we can boost the areas in different ways with different activities. So a lot of things like our mental health and well-being need a good foundation, which is like when you're building a house, build it on a good solid foundation, then you need the walls, and then you need the roof to complete it, and that needs to be stable, and it's part of the structure. So going back to this, Te Whare Tapawha, Explore Your Way to Wellbeing. find out what that is. This model was developed by a leading Māori health advocate and researcher, Sir Mason Jury, and it's been around for a while. It describes your health as a whare nui, a whare, the home, and a meeting house with 4 walls. This one is here as the model. It's got, as I said, a good foundation, which is your whenua, connection to the land or your roots, where you are, where you stand. That is where the whare is located. Then you've got your physical well-being, which is taha tinana, and on the other side you've got taha whānau, which is your family and social well-being. Then you've got your spiritual, taha wairoa, and your mental and emotional well-being, which is taha hinaro. And all of those elements make up your well-being. We're going to look at them today, and we're going to look at them individually. So today's one, if we go back to the contents, is whenua, our connection to the land and our roots. So generally speaking, the Mental Health Foundation has sort of 5 ways to wellbeing that they promote all year round. This week in particular, they're focusing on exploring your way to wellbeing. And so there are practical activities on the following things that we're going to go through for the different areas of that model, Te Whare Tapa Whā. And generally speaking, there are 5 ways to wellbeing. They highlight them as give your time, your words, your presence. Be active, do what you can, enjoy what you do, and move. And that'll help move your mood. Keep learning, embrace new experiences, see opportunities, and surprise yourself. Then connect, talk and listen, be there, feel connected. And take notice. Remember the simple things that give you joy. And that ties in a lot with the 7 Days of Sunshine Challenge, rediscovering what lights you up, the things that actually work for you, that you really enjoy, and being aware of them and having them to draw on when you need them. Just before I go on, I wanted to say that it's amazing what they've done this year, or they do each year with the Mental Health Foundation and Mental Health Awareness Week, is that they have a website where they actually include what's happening around the country. So in New Zealand, this week and even before today, there have been a lot of activities going on to help engage people and support people. So there's a lot of amazing things going on all over the place. And if anyone is in New Zealand and wants to check it out, the address is mhaw.nz/what's-on. So what's on for Mental Health Awareness Week. So many cool things. Because I can't be everywhere at once, I thought a live stream would be an awesome way to share the themes of this week. And yeah, I have some of these 5 ways to wellbeing resources in the form of a bookmark. So I'm going to be sending them out over this week or after this week to people if you would like them. And if you would, let me know. You can contact me at hello@sunshineandpowercuts.com. Moving on, the check-in. Really important to know where you are right now. And it's a good starting point because when you know where you are, you can see what you might need to do to improve it. And you can do this in any way that you want. You can get a piece of paper or a notebook or a journal. You can actually, I have links, which I'll leave for these resources so you can get a copy yourself and download it or print it and fill it in. But if you've got a pen and paper or something there, write down how you're currently feeling right now and what your hopes for the week are, what ways you think you could boost your well-being right now. And at the end of the week, you can reflect on this, on how you felt right now at the start and how it is at the end and what helped to uplift you. You can use emoji stickers. So emoji stickers are these fun things that they sent out as resources. That's what they look like. They're fun faces. And I've got some of those to give away as well. You can put them on the paper or use them wherever and to describe how you're feeling. And they're a bit of fun. So, kei te pihea koe, how are you? And here's a page to do it. In the 7 Days of Sunshine Challenge, the thing looks exactly the same, really. It's a worksheet that has a big space. And it's also got some lines underneath it because I like to write things as well as draw things, but in a blank space, you can do whatever you want. And I just want to point out here that there's no right or wrong way of doing this, and you don't have to do it either. It's just a suggestion. It's just a prompt, something to help that might help you figure out where you are and where you want to go to. So today it's Monday in New Zealand, so it's day 1 of the week. It's the 23rd of September, and the theme for today is Explore Whenua. That's our connection to the land and our roots. It's the place where you stand. It's your connection to the land, a source of life, nourishment, and well-being for everyone. It includes the soil, rocks, plants, animals, and people, tangata whenua. We are linked physically and spiritually to the land, and it's through the earth which you're connected to your tupuna, your ancestors, and all the generations that come after you. So you can think about it as literally where your house is, where you are, how you got there, what's around you, your local area. And I like here where they also say that it's your place of belonging, spaces where you feel comfortable and safe and able to be yourself. So it could be at home, it could be with friends, it could be as part of a sports team, or even at your work. And as I was saying earlier, everything in the Māori world has a life force, the Māori. So when our natural resources are not looked after, this life force is weakened. That's what I was saying before about having good structure. Hey Max, nice to see you in the chat. There is a live chat happening. Nice to see you. I'm not sure how long you've been there for, sorry, but welcome. We're just going through some ways to wellbeing, and this week we're looking at a theme of explore your way to wellbeing. So there's some pretty cool resources that were developed, and thanks for the host. Exciting. So part of our way of exploring our way to wellbeing through whenua is you can get a group together and explore your local mountain. And I'll go through why that's important in a minute. You can spend time in a garden or visit a local nursery. It's spring here in New Zealand. So, oh yay, welcome. Glad you just got here. It's spring here in New Zealand at the moment, so there's lots of beautiful blossoms and things. And hey Rex, welcome. Thank you for coming along. I've been out and about lately taking a bunch of pictures, and I'm really excited to share them. If you don't follow me already and you use Instagram, then you could check out my Instagram, because then I've got some pretty pictures that I've been taking from nature. That's my cat Shadow. There's an amazing rainbow recently, sunsets, spring flowers happening. What I love Instagram for is just sort of a photo album of all the nature connections that I have. So, yeah. Gather your family together and go out fruit picking or whatever is in the season that you're in right now. Maybe it's fall. Maybe go out and kick some leaves. I don't have things set up, Rex, unfortunately, to follow. Wasn't that organized in this stream. I think I only have it popping up on the stream, which is like follow at some power pod. But hopefully maybe I can get that sorted out for tomorrow's stream. Mind, get the link. Yeah, farmers markets or local markets or something to get fruit and veggies, and go out and visit some of the places that are around you. You could then take the fruit and vegetables that you get from the market and then make something with them. You could make a meal and then enjoy it together. You could challenge yourself to produce less waste, because it's amazing to see how much we use that isn't necessary each day. And I definitely like to sort of reduce my waste because I live out in the countryside and it's hard to get rid of it. So, yeah. You could volunteer at an organized beach or river cleanup or create your own. The theme for kind of is like getting out and enjoying nature together. So, here's more of a summary. There's a bit of a picture of people going out for a walk. That's in Auckland. There's a Sky Tower. Some of the options are or ideas, prompts to give back to the local area by volunteering. You could do it like conservation thing. You could plant some trees, or you could just go out and see how many native plants or trees or birds or whatever is out there. where you're out just sit in the backyard or out in your front porch or somewhere and watch the world go by, see how the clouds move across the sky. Take your shoes off, feel the grass beneath your feet. It's amazing. And then learning about the area that you're in, because it's about feeling a belonging to the place that we are. And one amazing thing that I found was this resource here. It's actually linked into from the workbook that they've developed for organizations, because the places that we work, wherever we are, communities that we're part of, are all important to have the individuals have really good health and well-being, because that's what makes up those organizations and communities. And learning about you and where you are. Hey, Ramrod, being here. I'm here. I was screen sharing, but welcome to the stream. We're talking about well-being this week because it's Mental Health Awareness Week in New Zealand, and I've just covered a couple of things on the 5 ways to well-being, and we're looking at some resources that were developed to cover the theme of explore your way to well-being. And the thing that I'm going to share here is sort of learning about where you're from. And in New Zealand, for the Māori culture, a pepeha is a way of introducing yourself. And I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that for the Māori people, it's really important where your connections to the world around you and your history, your ancestors, are all a part of who you are. And a pepeha is a way of sharing that when you introduce yourself. Instead of just saying, hi, my name is Heather, there's a little bit more to it. And this is such a cool link. pepeha.nz is the link for that. I'll leave connection links for this. I don't even know if I can type it in the chat. My keyboard's a bit far away. But as I said, it's a way of introducing yourself. It tells people who you are by sharing your connections with the people and places that are important to you. Yeah, okay. Ramrod said, are you sure it's not All Black Month because the rugby's happening as well? There's a lot of things that happen in September. So not only is it rugby season and things, there is International Podcast Month. And at the end of the month, it's going to be International Podcast Day, which I will be a part of. I'm going to be a part of the live stream event with Geeks Rising. So that's really cool. We've got an hour segment for that. And International Podcast Month does a lot of things. There was World Suicide Prevention Day, which was, I think, September the 14th or 15th this month. And so the Mental Health Foundation decided to move our awareness week for mental health to the 23rd to the 29th. Usually it follows or is in the week of World Mental Health Day, which is October the 10th. I might have that wrong. So there's always a lot happening. Every month has a day, an international something. Every day is special if we want to go that route. And each day we can do a little something for ourselves, for our well-being. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, or it could be a big thing. No stress, no pressure. Yeah. So talking about where we come from and introducing ourselves, which is something you do. Say, hi, my name is Heather. This is a different way of doing it. So this also brings in Te Reo Māori, which is we've got 2 languages of New Zealand, English and Te Reo Māori, and we actually had Māori Language Week recently. So I thought this would be really cool to share this. Yeah, take time out for you. Life is super busy for all of us, or stressful, or there's just things going on, or our health is in whatever state that's in. All sorts of things can impact us, and we're going to look at that. Physical health and well-being is something. Today it's about just our connection to the world around us and where we come from and where we are. So I wanted to run through this with you and show you. This is like a prompt thing, and it's beautiful. So here we've got I know my pepeha. It's the option if you already know what it is and how to make one. This one is learn your pepeha. So we're going to click on this one because I'm going to go through it with you. And it can be a little bit more involved than what we're doing. This kind of just creates sort of a basic pepeha for you. And anyone can do it. It's going to have a map of New Zealand, as you'll see, but anyone can do it anywhere and use it as a way of introducing yourself. So ingoa. Ingoa means name. What is your name? My name is Heather. There we go. Next. Whānau. Whānau means family. What is your family name? Welch. No hea koe. Where are you from, Heather? And now it says, help us. If your region isn't marked on the map provided, add it manually. So if you're from somewhere else in the world and you wanted to do this, you could add your location manually, and then it would just fill in the form at the end. So this is a map of New Zealand, and it's got some locations on it. And I am from Auckland. So choose Auckland. But yeah, at the bottom here, you could add it manually, which is pretty cool. You could be from anywhere. This one says Maunga. Maunga is a mountain that is special to you or one that you've lived by. I've lived in a lot of different places in New Zealand, and there's mountains all over the place that they have listed. But one of my favorite ones are the ones in the middle. It's awesome that you want to visit New Zealand one day, Ramrod. I would love to. If you do, like seriously, if you do, let me know, and I would love to be able to catch up with you when you're here. Pronunciation is quite difficult of Māori, so yeah, don't worry about that. If you try, that's amazing, and there are some phonic things to help sound them out. Yeah, a lot of different mountains in New Zealand. Some of them are my favorite, are the ones on the way. We call it the desert road. It's sort of a road that goes up towards Lake Taupo or Taupo, and they're beautiful if you can see them, if the weather's playing nice and is sunny and clear. But over here in the Hawke's Bay in Havelock North, there is a mountain called Te Mata Peak, and that's one of my favorites, so I'm going to pick that one. This one says Awa, Roto, Moana. And an awa is a river, a roto is a lake, and moana is like the ocean. So there are bodies of water that are special to you or the one that you've lived by. Again, there's lots of points on the map that you could choose from, or you could add one manually there. And I'm going to pick this one here, which is Waikari Moana. It's a special one for my family. So I haven't necessarily lived there, but it is a special one for my family. My mum has hiked or tramped around it, and yeah, it just has a significance to my family. So this is my pepeha, and the really cool thing about this, which I noticed, was that you can have it in ma, which is white, or tango, which is black, and everyone likes to choose whether they want a light or dark theme. So I thought that was really, really neat that they actually included it here. And I'll just zoom in so you could see it. So this is how my pepeha would go based on what I filled in. Kia ora tātou, greetings all. Ko te mata te maunga, te mata is the mountain. Ko Waikari Moana te roto, Waikari Moana is the lake. No Tamaki, aho, I am from Auckland. Ko Welch, toko whānau, Welch is my family. Ko Heather, toko ingoa, my name is Heather. So if you noticed, it starts from like up high. It starts with a greeting to all, then it starts with a mountain, and then it goes down to the river and to the location, and then to you, your family, because like that's kind of your ancestry, and then you. In a full pepeha, you'd probably include actually some of who your ancestors were. You would go through the ancestors who came to New Zealand and the waka, the boat that they took to get here, and also sort of a lot more detail. This is a very brief look at it. Kia ora is in the all black haka. I don't actually know the lyrics off by heart, to be honest. But kia ora is a greeting. So yeah, that is my pepeha. And then you can click finished. So kia ora is hello, and tātou is everyone. And then it says ka pai. Good job, well done. Before you proceed, make sure you're happy with the spelling of everything, especially if you manually add something. You'd want to make sure it's spelled correctly, and you can't be changed once they create the artwork. But I thought this was so neat because it's a different way of thinking about yourself. In different cultures, there must be different other ways of introducing yourself and different traditions and customs around that. And this is just the one that the Māori people use. And I thought it was really cool to share and that you could actually make your own in a really neat way. So proceed, because I'm pretty happy with that. Type in your name and your email address. got my email address for a second. It's hello at sunshineandpowercuts.com. You can opt in for updates or not. You can untick that one if you want and then click next, and it will send it to you. So naturally, you could use the free image, or you can download or buy other ones, that'd be really pretty. And I'm guessing that's only for New Zealand, so that doesn't really work. But you could click on the free image, and it would download it for you. I don't speak fluent Māori, unfortunately. I know some things, but I don't speak it fluently. And that's what we created today. My pepeha, so I can introduce myself to you and to others. So, as part of learning about who you are and where you come from and what you're connected to in terms of a mountain and a river, in the place that you're from, you could just do a bit of local history, research on the area that you're from. If you were keen, go to the library and hang out and ask some questions. Help with your sense of belonging to the place that you live in. The next point here on the end is learn a karakia, a whakatauki, a Māori proverb, or a waiata, which is a song. And there was one we started with, which was about the clouds, when the clouds sort of come over. Above that is the Milky Way. You can use the proverb or the song or the prayer, that's what a karakia is, to start your morning each day or whenever you need to help sort of ground you or make you feel calm, or just as a reminder for yourself. And they've got another example. Just scroll down. The bird sings, the morning has dawned, the day has broken, behold, there is life. I like quotes. My list of proverbs that I sort of draw on, I can't recall any and I didn't prepare any just right now, but I use a lot of quotes in my Sunshine episodes of the podcast because it's a great way of connecting a theme to something relatable to help share that experience and make it connect with someone. So this is the reflections part, and we've looked at whenua, we've looked at what it is, we've looked at the activity of creating your pepeha, getting out in nature, share some of your nature connections with people. That was a sunny day. That was amazing. One of my favorite nature connections is my cat Shadow, who's a bit cheeky and just part of my family. And go for a walk, explore, do something this week or today. I don't know. It's probably late in the evening for pretty much everybody from the southern hemisphere. So, yeah, something that you can connect you with the outside world, with the land, with the nature right where you are, even if it's just sitting and watching it out the window. I've got a video to share with you at the end, which I hope you'll enjoy. And this is our reflection page. So at the beginning, we did a check-in of where we are right now, how we're feeling. So how are you guys doing? I don't even know if I asked that. I'm so sorry. Ramrod and Rags, if you're still there. How are you guys doing? We talked about whenua, our connection to the land and roots. So what does whenua mean to you and to your family? Do you have a special mountain? Do you have a place where you go on holiday? Do you have places you enjoyed in your childhood? You're fine, busy, and school is beating you? That's tough. That is tough. um, that's why our looking after ourselves is really important so that we can get through those things and have the energy to do it. Yeah. Rags is doing good, settling in after a move. Cool. Hope the move went well and that you are settling in, getting some rest. And I think I've seen you been streaming lately. That's really awesome. But hopefully they've been going well as well. So what is Whenua mean to you? What is your connection to the land or to your ancestry or things? Let me know. You don't have to do it right now if you don't want to, or you don't have to do it at all. But if you do, we've got the Discord server if you want to share it in there. Or you can email me at hello@sunshineandpowercuts.com. Connect with me on Twitter, might be fun. What activities did we try out today? So we tried out the pepeha and we did the check-in with ourselves and talked a little bit about it. What made you feel good today? Hanging out in a live stream made me feel good. I'm really grateful that a couple of people popped by. Thank you so much. And thank you, Rags, and thank you, Ramrod, for being here. This morning I went for a walk, which was awesome. The weather is kind of overcast here. It's been really sunny for the last couple of days, which has been awesome because autumn and winter for 2019 was very long and dark and it was really hard. And I struggle with my well-being a lot, which some people find, I'm going to change that. Some people find that hard to grapple with because I'm usually an upbeat, sunny person, but that's one of the ways that I cope with my well-being is by helping uplift other people. I struggle a lot with keeping myself afloat. And on Valentine's Day this year, I went to a seminar on well-being, and it was really interesting how she described it. And I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, is that some of us are have different buoyancy. So we can float differently. Some of us are better floaters than others and keep ourselves above water and keep our head up. And others need a lot more support or tools to use to help them get there. And she described that as having flippers to help kick back up to the surface. And so sometimes I can dip under the water and stay down there for a little while. But that's what I developed the 7 Days of Sunshine Challenge for, was to give me something tangible to help me work on it, give me a strategy to work through. And I kind of just had to look inward and see what I already did when I was well and when I needed what I needed when I wasn't. It's awesome that you've been streaming quite a bit, Rags, and you've unlocked all the emote slots. Bunch of those. That's really cool. Building a community is awesome. Starting a stream and doing something like that is kind of, maybe that's like making where you are, and you're creating a foundation for the stream, and then people come along to that and it builds the community around it, which is amazing. Thanks, Ramrod. Got to take care of yourself. It is cool that I put it out there. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't like putting my emotions out there either. I'm one of those people who will shut down and go quiet and sort of withdraw from everything. This week is hard to do because it's myself in a live stream talking about mental health and well-being, which is really important to me, but I struggle with so hard. Before I launched the podcast, I'd just gone through a really rough winter, meaning the weather was rubbish. It wasn't very sunny. It was really dark like it's been this year. Trying to manage the capacity of power that I had to just do normal stuff. Like, I don't have a lot of conveniences, so it just made it a struggle, and I was trying to be busy. Well, I was busy and I was doing a lot of other things as well. And I was just really, really struggling. And someone suggested to me to look at a day in the life of Heather. And that's how I developed the 7 Days of Sunshine Challenge. So it got me to look at where I was right now. But I kind of started with what lights you up, because I needed to snap out of my darkness, and I just needed to draw myself out with a light. And all it was a piece of paper saying, what are the things that I really connect with? What are the things that really light me up on the inside? And those are the things that are going to eventually draw me out of myself and relight my life, like ignite it and fuel my fire and get me going again. So I started with that activity first and then did the check-in. And it's interesting because the first day of the Sunshine Challenge, what lights you up might be very minimal. You might not be able to think about too many things that do light you up because of the space that you're in at the time that you do it. But by the end of the week, it's amazing how much you can put in that square or that page that you rediscover about yourself, because you're moving through your well-being and exploring your way to well-being. Rags talks about mental health a lot. A large amount of the active chatters are disabled as well, and they're a really open bunch. That's awesome. And asking for help is a hard thing to do, Ramrod. It totally is. And I will say during this week to reach out for help. And I realize as I say that it is a lot easier said than done. Some people like to share a lot of their stuff, and more power to you. If that's what works for you, that's awesome. I have ways that I do it, which is I do usually shut down, but I have like a small group of people that I will reach out to, or I will, like, your family or people closest to you will notice it as well. And if they don't, I have kind of like lifeline things that will help me. But if you don't have those, I've got some links at the end of this as well to help if you don't have people in your immediate space to reach out to help for. Doing the podcast was one thing to try and help me work on that. And sometimes that's been a good thing. And sometimes it's been really hard to do that at the same time as trying to work through stuff myself. So episodes at the moment are whenever they are. And the thing is that it's part of my way of working on it. I use them as a resource. I listen back to them, and it's amazing what kind of impact that's had on other people as well. Blows me away. So yeah, I shut down. I have some people that I'll talk to. I found that having the ability to message people, like if I don't see people all that often in person during the day or the weeks, and just having a few people you can chat with in DMs rather than publicly out there is really helpful. And I really do like to get out and go for a walk or just sit outside in the sunshine and listen to the world around me. And I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been taking some time-lapse videos, and I'm going to share one with you at the end of this because I didn't actually get up to the mountain, but I look out across at some mountains from my home. So just looking out the window right now out of my office, I can see them and watch the weather pass by. So I'm going to share one of those at the end. Yeah. What would you like to do more of? For me, I think that would be to take my walks a little bit further afield. There are some great walks up the valley, and I would love to do more of them and do them a bit more regularly than I have been. And probably learn a little bit more about the history of the little town that's closest to me, or actually work on the full version of my PPR because it's been a while since I've actually looked at that. And the last one is, how did you feel after spending today exploring Whenua? Fun thing if it'll work. It says place an emoji sticky here so you can remember how it made you feel. And yeah, Ramrod said working out is a great way for your mental health. We are going to look at that later this week because it's specifically one on physical well-being, or your physical health impacting your well-being. And one of the 5 ways to well-being was be active. So we are going to talk about that more. But yeah, just seeing where you are, appreciating where you are, even if it's just looking out the window, that's really important. Yeah. Thing. The screen. Here we go. So we talked about exploring your mountain. Don't know what that. It was your mountain where you are. Look. People. Connecting to your ancestry, your pepeha, how you introduce yourself, connecting with others and going to the markets and doing, getting fresh food or having a meal together, being with friends and family, being a part of a sport or something, getting involved in an activity of some sort. And then, how did it make you feel? Relieved? that's pretty much it for the workbook that the Mental Health Foundation developed for today. And Whenua is a good start. It's our foundation. It's where we stand. It's the foundation on which we build our well-being, feeling connected, our belonging, where we are. Yeah, I had something else that the Peppy Heart activity was really awesome. I'd love it if anyone wants to check it out and share theirs with me. It would be great to hear. Love to get to know you that way. And yeah, as I mentioned, we have the Discord to hang out with others, and maybe you're part of amazing communities as well, and you want to share what they are and what's good about them. One of the communities that I'm a part of is Geeks Rising, and as I mentioned, International Podcast Day follows this week. It's on the 30th of September or the 29th. It starts if you're in the States. And our theme for this year is community. So kind of like ties into my theme of connections because I love connections. And yeah. Does anyone have any questions or anything that resonates for you with this theme? Or yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be doing the next element of the Te Whare Tapa Whā model that we looked at, which is like, this is the model that we're looking at. So whenua is the land, taha tinana is the physical, taha whānau is the family and social, taha wairua is your spiritual well-being, and taha hinaro is your mental and emotional. They build the wharenui, the meeting house, which is kind of like the important element of your community, yourself as a person, who you are. Think of it as yourself, basically. What makes you you? Move to this. Hopefully this is going to work. So as I mentioned, I have the amazing privilege of having an awesome view where I am. I live in a valley. It's amazing. And I wanted to share that with you because I wasn't able to get up a mountain in advance of today to show you, but I wanted to show you what I love about it most is when the light changes on it. So during the day, the sun can light it up. If the cloud comes over, there's obviously shadows. In the evenings, the light sort of creates shadows in the dips and valleys along it when it sets, when the sun sets. And I just wanted to share that as one of my connections to the place where I am. That's part of who I am. I love the view. I love sharing it, and it helps empower me. And that's one of the things about the Sunshine and Power Cuts podcast. It's looking at empowerment from examples from nature, and then also just the journey of living off the grid that led me to relying on nature for power, and then being empowered by it. Hopefully. Oh no, turn them off. And here it is. That's one of the amazing views when the sun, it was a clear sunny sky day that day, which was incredible. And it's a little bit hard to tell, I guess, because it was sped up so much. I don't know if there's options or settings for that. There probably are. I haven't explored too much in how to do time lapses on my phone, but managed to set it up, and luckily there was no wind because otherwise it would have been a mission to have my tripod stand there and remain stable. I took another one recently of the clouds as they passed by, looking at my solar panels, and it was beautiful because kind of patchy cloud sunshine, and you could see the reflection of the clouds across the solar panels as well as the clouds in the view. And then behind me, there were clouds obviously covering the sun at certain points, and it was amazing. I really, really enjoyed that one, but it was super windy that day because I live in an area where it's extremely high wind zone, and so the camera was fine on the tripod on its own for a little bit, and I was keeping an eye on it, and then a big gust of wind came over and blew it all over, and luckily my camera fell on which is my phone, fell in the garden, and it was fine. It didn't get broken because that would have been a shame. But yeah, I've been taking a few of those, and it's what I do with my Instagram is I share moments from nature. Just a post. I just take a notice of something. I stop. Maybe I'm out walking, or I just I haven't, connected with something in nature for a little while. Stop and take notice of it and take a picture and then share that on Instagram. So at SunPowerPod is the link. Follow me there. And Rags had a good point about having a thing to follow in the chat, so you can find the links to all my things. So I'll try and get that set up for tomorrow. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or if you want to cover something, there's going to be a lot we're going to cover this week. There's different activities we're going to do each day. They're probably going to go for about an hour. Kind of tend to live stream for an hour. That's about all I do, just because I'm trying to fit this in around work and everything else. And it's really important for me to do this, just like it is with the Sunshine Summit. That's really important to bring the stories of connections and bring people together and all of that. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do this week. If you have mental health questions, or if you have things that light you up, or if on any of the things that we talk about this week, so if you want to think about or create your own PPH or something, or if you have questions about mental health, you can ask me. I'm not an expert in mental health, but I've got resources I can point people to, perhaps, or we could go and explore it together and discover it. Or share what's worked for you, what's helped you with your well-being, and some of the tools that you have, because sharing that helps. It might connect and resonate with someone else, and they'll be able to do it, or you might learn from someone else's experience as well. I think that's what's really important about this week, is just the sharing of knowledge. That's why I wanted to share the resources that the Mental Health Foundation had created, because it's New Zealand, but mental health and well-being is important to everyone around the world. And yeah, I just wanted to share that a bit further afield than just here. For those of you who know me, I participate each year in Livestream for the Cure, which is an event that raises funds for the Cancer Research Institute. And as part of that, for top donors of my segment, I would give away downtime dice. It's not going to show it very well, but it's a little die that has prompts for things and activities you can do to take time out, to take downtime, and I love them. I'm going to be ordering some more of these to be able to send out to people. I don't know how quick they'll be getting here because I didn't get them organized in time for this week, but I do have some other cool stuff as well. Very, very good to see. But these are bookmarks that have the 5 ways to wellbeing that we talked about earlier today, which are give, be active, keep learning, connect, and take notice. What I think is amazing about New Zealand is that we have a lot of resources. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a long way to go in terms of mental health support and awareness, and just the structures around that in terms of health and helping people who are struggling with that, because we could do a lot better. But this week in particular is a great initiative. I'm really on board with it. I'm passionate about it. And they've made some great resources that are available for free. So that's awesome. And likewise with the things that I have to give away, send me a postal address to email at hello@sunshineandpowercuts.com, and I will post one to you until I run out. So tomorrow's segment that we're going to be looking at, just as a heads up, is going to be on Also, I have a question if you're still in the chat. I had background music that I was going to play, but I didn't. I just didn't have background music playing today. If you think that that might be something nice to have, or if it was fine just me talking, then let me know. And hopefully my volume's all right. No, background music isn't bad here. We didn't really have sort of a moment where I wasn't talking either. There might be a segment tomorrow where I'm actually going to do part of an activity live. So I might have some background music playing then, because then I won't necessarily be talking as much. Tomorrow's one is Explore Taha Hinenaro, and that's your mental and emotional well-being. So that's that element of your... thanks. Even with no talking, it's fine. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Good feedback. So today was the foundation, where you're from, where you are, the spaces that you feel safe, that you belong to, that you enjoy, and getting outdoors in a way. That'll come into play, like I said, later. They're kind of interchangeable in a way. They sort of overlap, which is awesome. And the more you sort of, there are different activities for some that you could actually apply to other ones. That was a bit convoluted, but I hope you got what I meant. And but tomorrow, actually, we're going to do a mindfulness coloring thing. Some of this stuff might sound a bit woo-woo, like a bit over the top, but coloring in can help. And that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but just spending time to focus on a specific activity. And I know that some people have like an app on their phone that will do a coloring thing, and they just, color it in with the app. Or you can actually get crayons or pencils or pens or things to color in something. The Mental Health Foundation created a specific coloring in page for this week. So I'm going to be sharing a link to that and working through it and coloring it in. Yeah. I'm not the best coloring in person, I guess, but something to do for fun. If anyone wants to check out the 7 Days of Sunshine challenge that I created, here we go. This is the 7 Days of Sunshine challenge. It is a link on my homepage of my website. So this is my website. Be empowered by nature is my tagline. Got all the menus up the top. You can listen to the podcast if you want to. You can subscribe to it, which just means get the link to add to whatever app or way you want to get episodes, which are all free. You can support the show if you wanted to, or support me. You can contact me or learn about my journey. The events that I support, sunshinesummit.live, which we wrapped up in August this year. We did 2 live stream events, and Geeks Rising, which is the network that I'm a part of, and you can find other shows that help explore your passions and educational. Again, another link to the podcast. Support if you want to on Patreon. There's no obligation for that at all. And then this is where you'll find the 7 Days of Sunshine challenge right here. So just click on that and it'll open it up. And it is an email thing, so you have to put your name and an email address in. Nothing happens with that. It's kept safely and isn't shared with anyone at all. It's just me that receives it, so that you're able to get the email series. It's automated, so I'm not actually writing to you each day, but what I do have in each email is that you can reply back to me, and I will actually get those emails if you do reply, and we can talk about whatever happened or came up for you on that day of the challenge. And then at the end, I think there's an invitation to join the community, and then there's actually a reflection that comes afterwards as well to follow up. But that's all that happens with that. You won't get spammed with anything else. There is no other mailing list that you get put on or anything like that. It's just this challenge. It's just a way of giving you some resources out over a couple of days, over 7 days, to help prompt you, because I know that your well-being and your mental health is important, and hopefully the prompts that I've created or that we share this week help. And yeah, lift each other up. That would be amazing. So that's the 7 Days of Sunshine Challenge. I think that's pretty much it. So, as I always say, until next time, be empowered by nature.